There are a lot of games that hold your hand. Then there's Red Dead Redemption 2, which teaches you how to ride a horse, shoot a gun, maybe skin a deer, and then basically drops you into the wilderness and says, figure the rest out yourself. And honestly, that's a part of what makes the game so incredible. Because RDR2 is full of mechanics the game barely explains, small systems that completely change how you play, and a bunch of details that most players only discover dozens of hours later. Some of these will save you money, some will save your life, and one of them completely changes how the game feels once you realize it. So today we're going over 5 things Red Dead Redemption 2 never tells you. And trust me, a few of these would have saved me a lot of frustration on my first playthrough. The game introduces horses like it's just transportation, but in reality, your horse is basically your entire survival system. It carries your long guns, your outfits, your pelts, animal carcasses, and a bunch of items you'll constantly need while exploring. The game doesn't really emphasize this enough, but where your horse is determines what you can actually do. You'll notice this the hard way when you spot a perfect deer, aim, and realize your rifle you need is still sitting on the saddle because you wandered too far. When you ride up into the mountains and Arthur starts freezing because your winter outfit, once again, sitting on the horse you left half a mile behind. Once you start thinking of your horse as a mobile base instead of just a ride, the game starts to make a lot more sense. And speaking of horses, horse bonding is way more important than the game makes it seem. Let me explain. The game tells you horse bonding exists. What it doesn't really tell you is how much it affects survival. A low bond horse is nervous, slow to react, and way more likely to panic during gunfights or predator attacks. And if you've ever had a cougar jump you in this game, you know how fast that situation can go wrong. But a high bond horse handles pressure way better. It responds faster, unlocks better maneuvers, and just generally becomes more reliable in chaotic situations. And the best part is bonding is incredibly easy to build. Feed it, brush it, calm it when it gets scared, and maybe stop running it directly into trees every 2 minutes. Because once you get attached to a horse in this game, losing it actually hurts. And if you know, you know. A lot of players walk around in free roam with 2 massive rifles on their back at all times. And technically you can do that. But the game actually feels better when you travel lighter. For most situations, a sidearm and 1 long gun is enough. If you're hunting, bring the correct weapon for the animal. If you're expecting a shootout, sure, bring more firepower. But outside of that, carrying every weapon everywhere just makes things messy. You're more likely to grab the wrong weapon during combat, and Arthur starts looking less like an outlaw and more like a walking gun rack. RDR2 really shines when you commit to the situation you're in. That becomes even more important when hunting. Hunting is way stricter than the game tells you. The game does mention that using the wrong weapon can ruin pelts, but it doesn't really prepare you for how ridiculously picky the hunting system actually is. If you want perfect pelts, you need the correct weapon, the correct ammo, a clean kill, and ideally a calm shot. If you blast a rabbit with the shotgun, congratulations, that pelt is gone. If you panic and load 6 bullets into a deer, that pelt is also gone. The hunting system rewards you for precision, not power. And once you start treating hunting like an actual process instead of just shooting animals on sight, comes one of the most satisfying systems in the game. But sometimes your perfect shot is still weak, and there's a reason for that. This is one of those mechanics that makes RDR2 feel incredibly grounded. Your guns get dirty, and not just visually, their performance actually drops. Damage decreases, accuracy suffers, overall effectiveness gets worse. Rain, mud, time, and general outlaw activity slowly wear your weapons down. If your favorite revolver suddenly feels weaker than usual, there's a good chance it just needs cleaning. Gun oil is cheap and cleaning takes about 2 seconds, but ignoring it for hours can absolutely make combat harder without you even realizing why. It's a tiny detail, but it's one of those things that shows how much Rockstar cared about immersion. So, those are 10 things Red Dead Redemption 2 never tells you. And honestly, that's part of the charm. Game lets you discover its system naturally through exploration and mistakes. If you learned something new from this, let me know which one surprised you the most. And if you want more RDR2 content like this, subscribe, because trust me, this game still has a lot of more hidden mechanics worth talking about.